Hey, Picasso's freestyle. Let's do it. Hey, eating couple wings with a couple kings. They're my favorite things. Hey, hey. That's all I got. I'm not a good freestyle rapper. Wait, hold on. Let me think for a second.
All right. Let's go. We got to take down these pikes, Boba. All right, folks. We are back. Book of Boba Fett, Chapter 6. Where's Mando? Where's Fennec? Where are these pikes? Let's go. Oh, Cobb! Think it through. Think it through. You don't mess with Cobb Vanth. Wait, Grogu's gonna remember Luke? What the hell? Oh no. Oh my god, it's the Jedi Purge. Grogu is there? Grogu, no! It's funny how immediately after Order 66, the clones just look so evil. Grogu, get out of there! Grogu's got the best eyes in the business. Oh my gosh, this episode is hitting way too much, way too early. We got Grogu, Luke, we got Jedi Purge. Oh my god! Ahsoka, Tano, let's go! This episode is ridiculous right now. R2's all excited to be hanging out with Ahsoka. That's incredible. Damn, Mando really got emotionally attached to Grogu. It's like deep as fuck. Oh no, they have to ban Mando from Grogu. Can't be having those emotional attachments as a Jedi. Oh no. Don't tell me he's going to go all the way to Grogu and then not even go see him. I'm going to literally lose it. I'm going to lose it. I'm going to lose it. It'll set back all that he's undone. Oh my gosh. This is like the worst emotional pain that Mando can't see Grogu right now. Oh, they're doing the thing where you zoom in on Mando and you know he's like super emotional, but he like, you know, you can't see his face, so you don't know for sure, but you know because you can tell and he's just Mando and he's an emotional guy. All right. Let's go. We got to take down these pikes, Boba. Cobb, Boba, Mando. Let's fucking go. It's incredible that Ahsoka and Luke were hanging out. Oh my gosh, Grogu has like a sad face on. That's the first I've ever seen it. And he's in a backpack on Luke's back. This is incredible. Just like Yoda. Grogu jumping. Don't try, do. Let's go. All right, seriously though, I haven't seen Boba Fett on screen in like 60 minutes in Book of Boba Fett. Come on now. Oh my gosh, the classic Star Wars theme. This is unbelievable right now. The emotions pouring through you. And they're good emotions, not hate. Oh man, he's got him on the test on the Jedi ball. Oh my god, poor Grogu just got lasered. Oh my god, this is unbelievable. We're getting a full montage. Grogu is doing front flips onto rocks while evading the Jedi ball and dominating. Last week you had Mando, now you got Luke and Grogu stealing the show. Poor Boba. Can't get that spotlight. Luke and Ahsoka technically first time on screen together. Oh my gosh. Is Baby Grogu going to explode the Jedi training ball? He did! Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness gracious. Oh my gosh, that is so ridiculous. She was his dad's Padawan. Holy smokes, that was deep as hell. Ahsoka and Luke talking about Anakin. All right, and now we're back to Mando, and it looks like we might be back to Tatooine. Mando pulling up to Boba's palace. This is great. We got the Gamorrean guard being tough with Mando. Mando's got a damn army too. What the hell? This is a great meeting, by the way. Chrysanthemum, Boba, the crew. What do we got going on here? Oh my gosh. It's like a skeleton of a crew. What the hell is happening here? Mando's got a crew. He's going after the Jawas. What the hell is happening? Uh-oh, what the hell is happening here? Oh no. Oh no. I'm nervous. We got scary music and we got somebody off in the distance in the blurriness. Oh man, this is a classic Western. Sheriff out in the middle. Who the hell is walking up right now? Oh my God! It's him! Cad Bane! Holy shit, they're giving him a full walk up to on Vanth right now? This is incredible. Marshall is super pissed at the deputy. Get the hell in there, deputy, you friggin' idiot. You're about to get yourself knocked. Oh my gosh, Cad Bane versus Cobb Vanth draw right now in the middle of town? Don't do it. Don't do it, deputy. Don't do it, deputy. Cad Bane just friggin' iced their ass. I knew I hated that deputy. You know what, though? Cobb Vanth still has, like, survivability. It looked like, he only got one shot on him. So, I don't know. But, man, Cad Bane is a bad, bad man. Woo! Not taking their helmets off is... All right, folks, sorry about that random drop off there, but hey, that's the beauty of live shows and that's the beauty of live internet. It is Wednesday, and you know what that means. It's time for What's TrainWreck WaTching, and of course, unless you've been hiding under a bantha somewhere in the Tatooine West Corridor, we are breaking down Book of Boba Fett. We are now 6 episodes in. Let me get my typical co-host, Casali, in here. Casali, how are we doing today, sir?
Man, we are doing good. It's crazy because I would even say starting from last week. I mean, we've been having a fun time with this show so far, but last week really knocked it out of the park with bringing us a familiar face that we didn't really expect, and I think it kind of added into this week the Empire to a New Hope. With what we got with this week's episode, it's insane. I'm just such a happy camper right now, happy Star Wars fan, because this is what these Disney Plus shows are here for, to wow and surprise us all the way through. I can't wait to break this down with you. I am super happy right now.
Now, Micah is migrating to the Outer Rim today. So we are, this week and much of the last month. So kudos to him for being on the episodes every week with us. With that said, we do have a special guest. And speaking of happy Star Wars fans, I have a feeling he is. Let's get him in here. It is, of course, everyone's favorite, Buffalo's bad boy, Del Reid. How are we doing today, sir? How are we feeling after this Book of Boba Fett installment?
What's up, gentlemen? How am I feeling? I feel like I'm going to raid on the parade a little bit. I enjoyed it, but it was like 3 different shows. Like, it was like a Star Wars. It was like reading a Star Wars anthology book from back in the day. Like, first I'm hanging out with was it Grogu and Luke, and then Mando, or vice versa. I don't remember now. It's a blur. And then I'm off on Tatooine. It's crazy. And then, like, I don't know why they called it Book of Boba Fett. They should have called it like the Book of, I don't know, Mando and Luke and Grogu and other things. It's just kind of all over the place. Not Boba Fett though. Like, he got his shine like the first few episodes, and like these past 2 episodes, if they were doing this, like if they were, I'm jumping way too far ahead. I'm gonna shut up. Hey, how are you? Thanks for
It's
having me.
okay. You're exactly right. My first message to my group chat, which we all focus on, Disney and Marvel stuff. I realized halfway through this episode, I care way too much that the show is called Book of Boba Fett. The fact that all this awesome Star Wars shit is happening is more than good enough for me. And that's really what it is. So again, I totally get the vibe that you're saying, Book of Boba Fett. It kind of seems out of place given the fact that the past 2 episodes have been, 175% Din Djarin. Boba Fett has not said a word the last 2 episodes, despite being on screen for this one. But I mean, come on, you can't tell me that this wasn't kind of the dream once Disney took over the Star Wars property, that we could see all these awesome personalities, all these awesome, situations playing out that, we always dreamed of. And has Star Wars ever felt like more of a Western than it was during that one scene we all know we're leading up to the end of this week?
Yeah.
Well, hey, let's get into it. So I know we were a little all over the place, and obviously, Del, you're leading up there. So start us off. We know spoilers are out on Book of Boba Fett for Chapter 6. So if you haven't seen it, make sure you see it because the internet is going to be a buzz about this bad boy. But Del, what were your takeaways, I guess, from the earlier parts of the episode?
I really enjoyed seeing Luke training a Padawan, or just seeing Luke in general. I was so disappointed the way his character played out in the second sequel, the second in the sequel trilogy. I did not like the way that he was a grumpy old man. He went from like whiny Luke in A New Hope to the Jedi and Return of the Jedi. We finally get to see him, and he's back to being whiny again. And like that whole character, like even with Yoda, like Master Yoda, the sacred texts. I don't know. I hated what they did with the kid that I always used to fight with my best friend over who got to be Luke and who got to be Han. I hated what they did.
Sometimes when I get frustrated with someone, I just yell, "The sacred texts!"
And you didn't even read them? Like, I
it's literally comical how frustrated, downtrodden, whatever the word you want to use for it, it was. And nobody wanted to see that. That was the thing. It was an interesting iteration, but it was one nobody wanted to see of Luke in that sequel trilogy.
Right, and I mean, I wanted to see him, but he was like my hero when I was growing up. Him and Optimus Prime, right? They were like the 2 coolest guys when I was growing up in the '80s. And for him to come back like a punk was really disappointing. Now I get to actually see, we know how Mando season 2 ended, and pretty much anybody over the age of like 35, 40 cried at the end of that episode, just getting to see Luke be Luke. And now I get to see him actually training, running through, the forest, and he's got Grogu on his back, just like Dagobah. Still a Jedi, still a jerky Jedi who doesn't believe in attachments and ruins the lives of the people that want to follow after him and everything, all that jazz. Still doing that nonsense, but it was good. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed seeing Luke be Luke. Like, okay, Book of Boba Fett, like you said, but we get to see all this cool Star Wars content. Whether like you said in your group chat, you said it doesn't matter what it's under the title of. We get to actually see these things happening. Ahsoka Tano can't. I don't want to go too far, but like the stuff that we got to see, like it's cool seeing it come to life. And they should just have like a Star Wars this week's Star Wars. They just show us stuff and they just keep telling stories. It's just like that's all they should call it. Star Wars, the Disney Plus series.
Casali, thoughts? Would you be tuning in every week to Star Wars, the Disney Plus series?
I mean, that's what we're getting so far. I do agree with you that it is a little kind of strange and a little funny at that, where, this is the Book of Boba Fett, and the past 2 episodes that barely featured him, I mean, dare I say, have been the best so far. But I think that's kind of what, they're kind of doing with, I guess, these series in itself. They announced all these, future series coming out. So I do like that they are kind of going more, cinematic crossover, how they couldn't do with the movies because they were a little too late in the game when, everybody got used to it with the MCU and stuff like that. So I do kind of like the idea of it, blending paths, with what they're doing, especially with this episode. I mean, this episode right off the bat, like I knew we had Mando come back last week, but already getting the, Luke and Grogu and all that stuff. I was just like a kid in the candy store this morning while I was watching this episode, because it was just amazing to see that. Not that I didn't know what to expect, but I didn't know it was going to happen this soon. I thought definitely like Mando season 3, we were going to get into that stuff, which, I mean, dare to say this felt like episode 1 of Mando season, or episode 2 of Mando season 3. So the fact that we're getting it this soon is just so exciting. I mean, and rightfully so. I think seeing Luke, kind of becoming, the the leader, the teacher that was promised, that we thought we were gonna get. I'm not as big of a hater as The Last Jedi. I think they had some cool things with it, but I can agree with you on that, where it was very jolting to see what they decided to do with Luke and all that stuff. So I think to see that take place within this show, I think it rightfully fits, and how he's kind of taking Baby Yoda under his wing as his Padawan and all that stuff. So I think the CGI in itself too. I think not that he looked like crap, in Mando season 2, but I think it got so much better with the way, like, it really looks like a young Mark Hamill. So I think all that in itself works. I mean, come on. And
have you read anything on the internet about that, Casali?
Not as much.
Apparently, after Mando season 2, because a lot of people were upset about Mando season 2, how Luke looked in that. I wasn't that upset about it. I thought he looked fine.
Yeah,
I have a very low standard for CGI, but if you read, there was quite a little bit of outrage out there on him looking. A lot of people were happier with this iteration. I looked up, and apparently there's a rumor that somebody after Mando season 2 did their own like mock-up of what they would have done for editing Luke Skywalker and like that, and they said they used that guy for this.
Okay.
So and they did buy themselves a little bit room. Whenever Luke went to really talk, they kind of cut away, or they used cuts or things like that. But yeah, it was exciting. I mean, let's face it. I know we're kind of all on the same point, so I'm going to put a bow on it, and let's see if we all agree with this. 2 episodes ago, if you told me we were getting a dose of Luke Skywalker only 1 episode away, I think we all would have signed up for that.
Yeah.
For sure. So, hey, so it's a chapter in Book of Boba Fett. And the thing to me, guys, is Star Wars, it's all about, like, showing you this, fantastic space in a long time, like, in a galaxy far, far away. And the androids did that for me. So here's an interesting example, because Ali, I agree with what you said about Last Jedi. Last Jedi did some good things. Last Jedi tried to tie itself into the Star Wars universe by having Luke, like, milk this, like, ridiculous-looking animal and drink, and it was the blue milk, and I get, like, the whole thing. How much more to you guys did the androids and watching them assemble what could be a potential Jedi temple feel like Star Wars versus that scene? Because to me, it was quite significant.
Yeah. Oh, no, absolutely. I think that in itself, where, as the sequels, not only, they were kind of connecting with the original trilogy, but they were trying to do their own thing at first, trying to figure out what they were really doing. The Disney side of Star Wars, because that, was 2017 at this point. So I think, they had a lot to kind of learn of, like, how they could tackle Star Wars. So to have this, the androids and the sort of, it felt like, fun, classic OG trilogy Star Wars, even though this is still, right after Return of the Jedi. So I definitely agree with that it feels, that classic, Lucas vibe to it with, and, Dave Filoni was right behind, this episode. He directed it. So to have him, obviously, with what he did with, the Clone Wars and, all the animation stuff, it definitely was in the right hands of what they were trying to do. So I like that aspect for sure.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, I know they always save the credits for the end, but there's no way you could get me more hyped for an episode of Mando, Book of Boba Fett, anything Star Wars than telling me Dave Filoni is the one at the head of it, because, there's just such a respect for the source material and everything like that. Speaking of source material, we get Ahsoka Tano. Del, are you a big animated guy from Clone Wars, Rebels, all that jazz?
I'm actually not, believe it or not. Like, I've watched
stuff. I know a lot of Star Wars fans that are diehard. They would swear they love Star Wars. that have never seen those. And until recently, I hadn't seen them all.
And I've tried, like, I have really tried. I've started the Clone Wars series probably 5 times, and I die 3, 4, 5, 6 episodes in. I just can't do it. When my buddy Mike Sullivan at The Kick Is Good on Twitter, huge Bills fan, huge Star Wars fan too. He gave me a guide a while back of like, if you want to get the whole gist of everything, watch these specific episodes. He gave me a couple different arcs, and I never got through doing all that. But no, I never. It's a long thing. No, I never really got into them. Not for lack of wanting to. I just couldn't. It just didn't. It could never grab me.
No, I get you. My dad, again, not to just say like you're my dad, Del, but he's the same way. He says that the animated makes it too much of a disconnect for him. It makes it feel like it's not like real or a weird vibe.
Well, no, that's not even it though. But like, not to interrupt, but like I loved the Clone Wars movie. That was good. It was a nice little compact story. I can watch animation all day long. It doesn't bother me. Just the clone, it was dry, and I just had a hard time. Maybe everybody says it started slow, and that you have to like get into it. But I had such a hard time, and I love Star Wars. I couldn't get into it.
What about you, Casali?
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm still kind of diving through myself with the animation. I mean, we live in the age of streaming shows and everything coming at you at once. So, I have a lot on my plate of what I'm trying to get through. But the Clone Wars is definitely one that, growing up, like, I mean, I've watched the movies, front and back, ever since I was a little kid. The animated stuff I haven't really, delved deep into since recently. So I am in the process of getting through. And I do agree with what you said that, the first couple episodes, it's very episodic, which obviously for Star Wars, that makes sense. But the way that they're kind of taking place where it doesn't really have like a whole through line until probably like season 2, if that. So, I do agree with that where it is a little jumpy at points, because it is taking place throughout the whole, the history of the Clone Wars, because that happened for a long time. Like, it's not like Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith, it's a couple years apart. There's a lot of history dive into it. So obviously that, but I think
the Clone Wars.
Yeah, but I think, that's what's kind of cool about, the live action series is what they're playing with those toys, and they're realizing like we have these characters that are so beloved, like Ahsoka Tano, which that was, I thought that was great too, because Ahsoka was Anakin's Padawan, and now Ahsoka actually being in the same room as his son, I think is kind of mind blowing in itself that we ever, who'd have thought we'd ever see that, let alone all this great stuff that we've been getting in the past couple of years. So I think, I think that's why having Dave Filoni behind this stuff, I think, is kind of like where it really sets aside of like what they're doing is right, because, he knows what he's doing. He's not just kind of, copy and pasting. He's really caring about, his legacy, and not only just the storylines of what we grew up with, and even in the show and whatnot too, but kind of respecting that. So if you are a fan of the series, all the way through, you'll have something there. And if you only watch a couple episodes, you'll still have something. It's not like where you need to, really watch and pay attention. But obviously, there's going to be something for every Star Wars fan. And I think this episode proved that, there was something for everybody. So that's what I definitely been loving that they've been doing with these live action stuff for sure.
I agree. Don't get me wrong. I would just say that if you watch the Clone Wars and the anime, this was probably the heaviest laden episode.
Oh, yeah.
With and again, you're right. You're obviously getting, like we talked about in the opening of this What's TrainWreck WaTching recap, you're getting those training montages with Luke and Grogu, which are incomprehensible that you would have been getting those like a season and a half ago or a year and a half ago in Star Wars time, but you're getting them now, obviously. Let's shoot through some of the big parts of this episode as we get to that second half, and obviously the big developments towards the end of Book of Boba Fett. We only have a couple episodes left, so obviously one more episode to do battle instead of this one. So with that said, Order 66 flashback. I mean, this was crazy. You had Luke. It goes from cute, he's forced like leaping Grogu forward. All of a sudden, he wants to kind of feel his brain. And of course, anytime someone touches someone's brain to remember their memories or something, it's almost always traumatic and it's almost always terrible. With that said, you're getting the other perspective. I'm not sure whether Grogu was watching, a section of the temple that he knew where something was happening, or he was watching on a security monitor, or he was actually there. But all I could take away, and you can see it in my reaction video to it, is that the clone troopers just look so evil. And like the thing is, they look like they were the good guys. Like, and then just out of nowhere, when they turned out, they looked so evil. But what'd you think of that sequence? What'd you think of that flashback scene for Order 66?
I thought it was cool. I mean, I don't know, like if I just thought maybe he was so small, maybe maybe the troopers just didn't even notice him. Maybe he was there because it looked like he was being protected by the 3 Jedi in front of him. So maybe I just thought it was more of a play on how small this little guy is, and maybe they just like didn't even see him or something. But yeah, it was cool, and the music really kind of hinted back to Revenge of the Sith. Like it really had that same kind of like feel to it. It probably was like the same piece, just reworked a little bit. But it was that was interesting. That was really well done. This is all well done.
Well, yeah, I mean, Order 66, like we've seen, like that's a very historic moment, from Star Wars history that was given, from us, obviously from the prequels, and Revenge of the Sith. So I thought that was kind of cool. That it was kind of you could see what was kind of set during those times. I think what's kind of cool too about what they've been doing with not only the Disney Plus stuff but even the sequel trilogy is they do have fun kind of paying homage to not only the original trilogy but the prequels, because obviously what Lucas he had that was always his kind of plan to do the original 3, and then the first 1, 2, and 3 later in his career. But that kind of got a little dodgy, and some things kind of didn't really add up, whereas now kind of plays on through where obviously we all know the big historic moments throughout the saga, so it's kind of cool to see that come back to life within, because I know that was also a big thing. I still have much to go with the Clone Wars, but that was a big thing with the final season that just came out a couple months ago, that they kind of showcased that event through different perspectives, Order 66. So to see that with our lovable Baby Yoda, I mean, again, having Baby Yoda come back in this episode, this was a Kasali jump out of the couch moment, because it's always
there were about 5 to 6 jump out of your chair
so
moments
many
in this episode.
But like,
I know our tenor is weird because we're not sure exactly what this series is doing going into the but that doesn't mean
absolutely.
The moments weren't awesome.
No, absolutely not. And I mean, I am a huge diehard Baby Yoda fan till the day I die. I love that little guy. So to see him come back, just pleased my heart, because I mean, we always question like what like when are we going to see him again? There's no way that was going to be the last time we'll see him at the end of Mando season 2, and when Mando gave him to Luke at the end. So to kind of see that was just fantastic. So it was cool. I love that they get to play with that history, because I mean, it makes sense. I mean, we still don't know too much about Baby Yoda. We don't know Grogu. Like, we don't know like what kind of species the Yodas are. We still don't know if technically he's a clone, or like there's still a lot to learn about this character. So it's great that we have a lot left, that obviously we'll learn a lot more, whether it's Boba Fett season 2 or I'm sure Mando season 3. So that's really exciting.
Most definitely. And hey, so Boba's got his whole team. Great scene in Jabba's palace. By the way, Jabba's palace only feels like it has like 4 areas, like the prison and kitchen area, the walkway, the main like throne chamber, and then the back area. I haven't seen any other area in this palace, but whatever. We're meeting in the main throne area. We got the mod squad. We got Fennec Shand or Shannick Band or Fennec Shand, whatever. I can't remember her name right now. Yes, Fennec Shand. I don't know why I was it. Fennec Shand. Black Chrysanthemum. I would have liked to see a little bit more personality out of Black Chrysanthemum. I think he's been kind of chill. Obviously, they're getting ready for war, and so are the Pikes. The Pikes go ahead and they blow up the sanctuary, the spot where Boba was going in to collect a check on his business. obviously not safe any longer. Unfortunately, RIP. Max Rebo not seen at location there. But with that said, it is all about assembling troops for this war. We need ground soldiers. So Mando goes to Mos Pelgo, now known as Freetown, which, by the way, what the hell? Since when in Star Wars does anybody call themselves a town?
Yeah.
It's how Tatooine looks big when ships approach it in these movies, and there's like 4 towns. And he's like, well, they may not come to your town, but it's a big planet or whatever. It's some line. I was like, it's like something's going on in Europe. It's like, oh, we should be scared the Pikes are taking over Poland or taking over Germany. You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
Yeah.
It's not going to stop with Mos Pelgo.
We need a geographical map of Tatooine. It's really
I do. Is Mos Pelgo next door to Mos Eisley? Is it on the other side of the planet? I have no idea.
I do like how no matter what, everyone agrees Mos Eisley is just like for shit and like no hope. Like there's nothing good going on in Mos Eisley. Sally.
It's a wretched hive of scum and villainy.
That's right.
Seriously. So obviously we meet with Cobb Vanth. He convinces him, and he just leaves. The deputy being a little odd around Mando, pissing me off, obviously. And again, so this is where the animated series comes into play, because you get this shadow walking in, the winds are swirling, Cobb Vanth is out there, and it's Cad motherfucking Bane.
Yeah.
Which, if you've watched the animated series, this dude is ridiculous. Mm-hmm. He has a ventilator. He doesn't need a ventilator. He has it so he can go into space and whenever he wants and it not be an issue. And the ventilator has a tube Del that goes into his neck, because this guy was around during the Clone Wars, and it goes into his neck so that Jedis can't force choke him.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah, isn't that incredible?
That's incredible.
So it's not this dude is like a reverse Darth Vader. He doesn't have a ventilator so he can breathe. He has a ventilator so he can literally cheat.
Mm-hmm.
That is like he sold out to the job, man. Like good for him. Good for him. Like this is he was like, this is the way, right? This is the way. I'm gonna fight Jedi forever.
Seriously, and what a great scene. I was begging the deputy in my recap. I think my recap cut off before we got to that part, but I was begging the deputy, do not go for the gun. Do not go for the gun. I mean,
he telegraphed it. We knew that was going to. He's hot to trot. I don't know. That wasn't crazy. I don't miss him. I don't like him.
And someone is so funny. Cad Bane literally just came into that town, shot the authorities, and left. Didn't try to do anything else. Didn't try that. Just like is the ultimate message.
Yeah, no, I mean that was straight Western vibe too. I mean that that Star Wars was always from day one like a space Western, space Odyssey type kind of thing. So to actually have that play out and the way it looked and the way that Dave Filoni directed, that kind of scene, even when, Cobb Vanth and Cad Bane first, laid eyes on each other. And, he's such a menacing threat. I mean, I from what I have seen in Clone Wars, he definitely is a huge part of kind of like the evilness of the Sith, or not even the Sith, just kind of like, playing his role of kind of, having his way in the galaxy. Because that's what
Cad Bane?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's proof that you don't need to be like some supernatural dude to be a bad guy. You're just a bad guy. Like that's
just be bad. Just be bad.
So
I like to do bad things.
To see that in the way that he plays out, because there was a bunch of rumors in the past of like, oh, is Cad Bane coming back? Are they going to do a live debut? So to actually see it take place makes me so excited to really dive deep into this character and see what they do, because that's just that's very exciting.
It is going to be exciting. Hey, we're winding down here on What's TrainWreck Watching. By the way, huge shout out to Del for joining us. He's still at work unless he has some background that's exactly like his work background. So shout out to him. We got 2 more topics here, and they're the biggest ones, honestly, for the show. So ultimately, Luke is kind of pushing Grogu to the edge here, even though we saw a more relaxed, comforting, encouraging Luke than we saw in Last Jedi. He's telling him, don't try, do, and he's telling him size matters not, all these nice, lessons that he's learned from Grandmaster Yoda. With that said, all of our dreams for a Mandalorian Jedi feel squandered here. We can't get the foundling. He has to be a Padawan. Can you be a foundling Padawan? What the hell is going on here, Del? Clear it up for me.
I don't know. Again, it's just the Jedi forcing their their way of thinking on whoever wants to, whoever they have the opportunity. I mean, these are the guys that steal babies. They used to steal babies from around the galaxy and bring them to the temple and say, "You're not allowed to love anybody."
Jedis are kind of bummy. Like the Jedis love like squandering victory like within their grasp, and having a Mandalorian Jedi would be like the coolest thing ever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, Din Djarin's already got the dark saber. That's kind of like a lightsaber, right? So I don't know, but like if he could work with Grogu and they could be, that'd be a great buddy cop show, buddy Jedi, the two of them. Think of the adventures they would have. But no, I mean,
Din Djarin wielding the dark saber reminded me of myself after the Patriots game. I had a couple too many.
Yeah, he's got some work to do. They're obviously going to develop that though. But
I died when he fell off the platform. I actually had a moment like of a gasp. And again, I know we're talking about last episode now, but I gasped.
Yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to see what they do. I don't know. Like I feel like this. I feel like we didn't really need Boba Fett, to be honest with you. Like I feel like we already had this new character with a blank slate. Bringing back Boba Fett, like it was cool if he was a cameo in season 2. Like, oh, cool, that's Boba Fett. Like when you see whatever his name is, I forget. Like he's wearing Boba Fett's armor. That was a cool callback. And then for Boba Fett to go and get it. That was cool. I feel like we didn't need to.
I feel like what
they
had
Boba Fett story
right now. Before we get into this very last topic, will Grogu make the right decision? And I guess Sally, I want your thoughts on this. I feel like the first 3 episodes or the first 4 episodes pre-Mando were so good and such a solid storyline, and it was the Sarlacc, and it was what people wanted to see. That they were like, well, we can't waste this. We can't not do this. Series for Boba Fett because they had a good core idea. But you're right, this may have played better as the last 2 episodes being the first 2 episodes of Mando season 3 and the first 4 episodes of this season having been maybe like a Boba. You can't do a standalone Boba movie. That's the problem, I guess. But some kind of, hour-long show or something. I don't know. But you're right. I agree with what you're saying.
Yeah, there was a lot of kind of stuff that was playing around, even in the beginning, definitely before, the whole Last Jedi controversy and the Solo, not making a lot of money, because that was all Disney's kind of way where they wanted to do a saga film and then a standalone film right in between. And there was, I think on deck, they were working on a Boba Fett movie at the time, and they had, I forget who it was.
I forgot about that.
It was a guy.
They did.
It was the guy who directed.
Oh my gosh,
Logan. It was God, I can't remember his name, but yeah, they had one, on deck.
I can't believe I forgot that.
And then it got canned when Solo made no money, and they reworked their kind of whole thing of what they were going to do as content, and then Disney Plus was coming out, on the brim, so that kind of turned into the Mandalorian. So I think they already had what they needed. They reworked it, brought us a brand new character, easily the greatest, the best new Star Wars we've had ever since
Facts.
Even I mean, again, I enjoy the movies. I think The Force Awakens I think is probably the best movie we've had, but easily the best content we'd have with the Mandalorian. So I think them kind of doing the whole Boba Fett.
Rogue One.
Oh no.
Can we talk about Rogue One? No, we can't.
Rogue One's amazing. Rogue
One had a similar grittiness.
Rogue One's amazing. I don't know. I 100% agree with you.
I love Rogue One. Rogue One, I think, is universally applauded.
I spoke too soon. Rogue One is easily my favorite Disney
when they rammed the Star Destroyer into the barricade, let's go.
But still, no, you're absolutely. Rogue One is amazing. So, you're absolutely right. But yeah, so I think what they're doing with Mandalorian and now Boba Fett and all that stuff, I think what they're doing with these shows, I think works, and it kind of spreads it out and gives us something to look forward to each week. And obviously, with how well Mando did, and Boba Fett has not had the greatest reviews since Mandalorian. However, now it's kicking in because we got our characters back, we got our Mando, we got our Baby Yoda back. So I think with what they're doing now works. So I'm very excited to see, what else we get. I can't wait for Obi-Wan. I can't wait for Ahsoka. I can't wait.
I thought
for
it
all
might have
these
been
things.
Obi-Wan walking in off on the distance for a millisecond.
Oh my! I didn't even think about that. Imagine, holy crap, that would be.
I'm glad I didn't think of that either because I would have been so disappointed. Although,
Well, hey, oh yeah,
even though I didn't watch,
Well, it
too
wouldn't
much-
make
too much
sense.
Clone Wars.
Obi-Wan's dead.
true. Oh yeah, true. This is right
Yeah,
after that.
come on.
True. I lost my. Okay. Sometimes I lose track of my timelines here. I get excited. Okay, but hey, signing off here on What's Training Watching. Give me your call. What's gonna happen on Grogu? Is he gonna go with the Mando lifestyle, or is he gonna take the blue pill and decide to become a Jedi?
No, yeah, I mean, you know, I didn't really kind of, you know, put my 2 cents in with the last question, but yeah, I think this is what really kind of, you know, stands the table. This was the cliffhanger we all needed because obviously, you know, even though I love what Luke is trying to do with Baby Yoda with Grogu, because this is the Luke that we have learned about within the sequel trilogy, that he, you know, found the Jedi Temple and raised, you know, the next generation of Jedi until, you know, he trained Ben Solo and then everything went to hell. So I think this is, you know, the Luke that we've learned about and wanted to see. So I think him, you know, getting to do it with Baby Yoda, with Grogu, which in itself, I mean, this was the Empire Strikes Back reversed. You know, this was, you know, instead of Yoda teaching Luke in Empire, it was, you know, Luke teaching Baby Yoda. So I think that in itself, I think, is kind of poetry at its you know, at its best. Which, I mean, Lucas always, you know, wanted poetry, you know, enthralled with Star Wars. So that in itself works. But as far as what Grogu's decision goes, I don't know. And I think that kind of stands the test of what we're going to get within season 3 of Mandalorian. I really think that this is kind of leading into what we're getting, you know, whether it comes out in December. I know they're filming it right now, but I mean, it's exciting because I get it. You know, obviously, you know, this is a big deal. I mean, this is Baby Yoda. He's very powerful. He could be a great help within the Jedi Order, but at the same time, we love our, you know, 2 guys going through the space, you know, Mando and Baby Yoda. We love seeing them every week. So, you know, who's to say? I don't even know really what the best decision is. I think my impulse is, you know, to go with Mando, but that's just kind of, you know, because I love Baby Yoda and I want to see him every week. But, you know, who's to say? We'll see, because I think that is really the most important decision on what's going to happen within the future of, you know, these shows.
Yeah, for me, I think the previous, you know, the 2 Mandalorian seasons were all about this bond between Din Djarin and Grogu, and how difficult it was for Din Djarin to actually let go at the end of that 2nd season. And now he's searching for him and everything. And tell me, when you were watching that, you didn't want him to run up the hill and just like peace out to Ahsoka Tano and run up there and see Grogu. And the whole time, like, Luke is giving him this option at the end. I'm like, you jerk. You know what I mean? Like, I think, like, that's my one thing. As much as I love Star Wars, I hate that the Jedi are just they're so robotic, but they're not. But they're not. They're all every single Jedi is a contradiction to himself. You know, and I'm a huge nerd. Well, I may not have seen all the Clone Wars shows. I've read probably 100 EU novels, not which are all now no longer canon. Which I'm still triggered. I'm still triggered when I start talking about it. But like, the Jedi are all contradictions. It's just a huge false life they live. But so I'm looking at Luke.
They sit on a throne of lies.
They sit on a throne of lies. Yes.
Are you sure? Are you sure you're just not mad that Mara Jade's not going to be showing up?
Mara Jade, yeah. I was never a huge. Yeah, I guess that'd be cool. What I really miss is, like, there's no Jason Solo, and there's like these all these characters, they never even existed.
Yes.
Like the Yuuzhan Vong, like, never existed. Like, that drives me crazy. But then they start teasing in Thrawn. So I don't know. They're picking and choosing what they want. But anyway, so yeah, my whole thing is Grogu, make the right decision. Get that chainmail, that Beskar armor, put that on. Give Luke deuces. Go find your Mandalorian, you know, Papa, and go have some great adventures, and you'll be good.
I think that he's going to take the lightsaber, and Luke's going to say, you passed the test, you've proved that you could, like, be detached, and you could still have the Mandalorian armor.
Contradictions again.
I know. Well, that's it. We're the Jedi. We're the Jedi.
I think you nailed it.
That's what we do. But hey,
you nailed it. I think
that is what we do here on What's TrainWreck Watching. Huge shout out to our panel. Of course, as always, Mr. Hollywood, Joe Casale. Joe, what do you got on tap for this weekend?
Oh, it's Jackass weekend, baby. I mean, this week is, my childhood come to life with new Star Wars and new Jackass in the same week. So Jackass. I cannot wait for Jackass Forever this weekend. Oh, absolutely.
I think we'll be able to make a cover of that. Del, besides rewatching this episode, you got anything you're targeting?
I'm thinking I'm going to be snow blowing and shoveling based on the weather reports.
But hey, more time indoors.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I have nothing going on. It's a weird non-football weekend coming up. Kind of not used to that, Going to have to get used to it in a couple weeks, but just probably sneaking back in the office for a little bit, doing some more shipping because we're probably going to be closed the next couple days because of the weather. So nothing exciting to report.
What a shocker. He's working. Well, hey, folks, thanks for working and following along with us. Make sure you're following on Spotify, Twitter, Facebook, Twitch, podcast, Apple Podcast, Spotify, everywhere where you get them, Instagram, MySpace, because we got our panel. We got Mr. Joe Hollywood, Joe Casale. Shout out Mr.
Casale
Man,
Files.
Jake Micah. We hope he's doing okay out there on the outer rim. And a huge shout out to Del Reid for joining us. Make sure you check out 26 Shirts. You've probably heard of it unless you've been being digested in the Sarlacc over 1,000 years, but we wouldn't want that for you folks, because here on What's TrainWreck Watching, it's not about next week's plans. It's not about tomorrow's snowstorm. It's about next week's episode.